We are in the midst of the international break, with various boys representing their nations. Whilst the main focus is on internationals at the moment, it hasn't stopped the news coming out of Celtic, and in today's video we'll round up everything that has happened in the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic captain Callum McGregor has revealed a notable change that has taken place in the Parkhead dressing room over the past few years. It's not one that holds much importance to on-the-pitch matters, but it remains intriguing nonetheless. Indeed, the Hoops skipper spoke about the music that's played behind the scenes and how it has altered since players such as Scott Brown and Kieran Tierney were at the club. He said, "I think now more of the younger ones are all listening to their AirPods and stuff. It doesn't bother me now because I'm a wee bit caught in between old school, where I had like Bruni and KT, and like we had a very British type changing room at the point where everyone was always together and we all listened to the same music, and now it's completely changed." This alteration has most certainly not affected anything on the pitch from Celtic. From when Brown and Tierney were playing, not much has changed in Glasgow's East End. Brendan Rodgers remains the gaffer, the Hoops still lead the way in Scotland too, and are regularly winning trophies. It seems as though dressing room music doesn't do much and rather is simply a choice of personal preference for the players. Former Celtic striker Lee Griffith has been announced as part of Mandurah City's coaching staff. Griffiths will continue to play in a player-coach role for the Australian side, who compete in the Football West State League Division 1. Griffiths rejoined Mandurah in the March 2023, having already played for the semi-professional side back in August 2022, when he initially signed on a short-term deal. Griffiths was released by Celtic in January 2022. A Mandurah City statement read, "We are pleased to announce our 2024 Mandurah City FC State League Division 1 men's coaching staff. Again, our men will be led by John Baird, and he welcomes to his team assistant coaches Pete Taylor, Zach Headington and player coach Lee Griffiths." John Baird said, "I've been very fortunate to have good people and coaches around me since I've taken on the role as head coach. These coaches bring a huge amount of skill, experience and professionalism to the team." Lee Griffiths will be joining as a player coach, and I think Lee's experience and the high level Lee has played at will be a massive bonus for our players. Griffiths scored 90 goals in 173 games for Celtic, and will go down as one of the most prolific strikers in Celtic's modern history. However, the former Scotland international has previously admitted that he didn't apply himself as well as he should have in the past. The former Celtic striker is continuing to do what he enjoys most, playing football and scoring goals. Perhaps, in the end, he can use life experiences to help other players not make some of the same mistakes he did. Alistair Johnson is currently on international duty, with two pundits in his homeland posing the question of whether he could play in midfield for Canada. With Rao Hatate currently sidelined until after Christmas, Celtic face a tough festive fixture schedule without one of their stars. Hatate joined Celtic in December 2021 and has since contributed hugely in winning 4 domestic trophies, including 2 Scottish Premiership titles, 1 Scottish League Cup and 1 Scottish Cup. David Turnbull has proven himself in recent weeks to be more than an able deputy to Hatate, chipping in with goals against St Mirren, Ross County and Aberdeen. The Scottish midfielder's future at Celtic is uncertain though, with Brendan Rodgers revealing that the ball is in Turnbull's court with contract extension on the table. Johnson previously played a midfielder in college at Wake Forest and only transitioned to right back while there. Canadian pundits Jordan Wilson and Gareth Wheeler spoke about the potential position change for Canada on One Soccer. Wheeler said, "I would try Alistair Johnson as a holding midfielder. I just think it's a role in this team where there is no defined player. I think he could unlock and unleash Eustáquio to play a bit more of a free role. He's a player I most trust in that position. Just watching his game evolve, his distribution has become very good. When Canada was working at their best, Johnson would play that role. Sometimes he'd stay on the right, but sometimes he'd also come centrally as well in order to distribute and open up space down the flank as well." Wilson said, "Alistair Johnson did that exceptionally well at Wake Forest. It's not like you're picking a guy who's played right back since he was 8 and he's never played in the middle. He knows the temperature and it's also about familiarity. If you go into midfield and feel comfortable, of course you can perform, but if you play right back for 45 minutes and then throw him into the middle, it could be pretty difficult." Wheeler and Wilson's comments make a compelling case for experimenting with Johnson in midfield on the international scene. If it was successful, it could open the door to a similar experiment at Celtic. Canada play a double-header against Jamaica over the next 5 days in the quarter-finals of the CONCACAF Nations League. Johnson has demonstrated incredible heart and determination during his time at Celtic, leaving no doubts about his desire to improve as a player. He is certainly one of the first names on the team sheet as it stands. Whether Rodgers reckons the team can afford to move Johnson away from the right-back slot and rely on Anthony Ralston is another matter. Former Celtic boss Ange Postecoglou had an interesting near miss with Huddersfield Town in the English Championship 4 years ago. However, the move fell through and he remained in Japan for 2 more years before taking up the role at Celtic in June 2021. His tenure at Celtic was marked by significant success, including 2 Scottish Premiership titles, 2 Viaplay Cup wins, and a Scottish Cup win to compete a treble in the second season. David Webb, Huddersfield Town's director of football, shared insight into the club's conversations with Postecoglou. They had a couple of phone conversations during which Webb was impressed by Postecoglou's authenticity and his deep understanding of Huddersfield's squad. Webb appreciated Postecoglou's straightforwardness and felt that his values and style of play would have been a great fit for the club. However, due to some issues and the ability to move swiftly onto the managerial appointment, Postecoglou's potential move to Huddersfield Town fell through. At the time, he was based in Japan, and the delay in proceedings ultimately led to the opportunity slipping away. As quoted by Record Sport, he said, "We had a couple of long-distance phone calls. I spoke to him and I really liked him as a person. He was someone who I felt would have fit Huddersfield really well because of his values and I liked the way he played. I like authenticity and he was just himself. This is me, this is how I am, this is how I play, this is what I do." He had done his homework on the Huddersfield squad, but where he was situated we couldn't move him quick enough to get him over the line where we needed it to be. Thankfully the move fell through, and he brought some amazing success to Celtic. Had he taken the job in England, it's almost certain that he would have never managed Celtic. Former Celtic head of recruitment Lee Conkerton is reportedly wanted by Manchester United. The Welshman was in Glasgow for 2 years before departing for Leicester with Brendan Rodgers in 2019. It is reported by The Telegraph that United wanted someone to lead their recruitment once Jim Ratcliffe's investment in the club officially goes through. Conkerton's name is one that's under consideration, along with the likes of Paolo Maldini and Paul Mitchell. At Celtic, he helped sign many players, the majority of whom were unsuccessful in their time at Parkhead. Moves for Koundé Benyu, Marvin Kompa, Charlie Masunda, Marian Zved, Daniel Arnzani, Vacuum Bayo, and many other flops were facilitated by Conkerton. Despite his poor track record in Glasgow, the now 50-year-old has proceeded to land some top jobs. Currently he is the managing director of football at Serie A side Atlanta and has been in that role for over a year. United's interest in Conkerton is intriguing to say the least. At least at Celtic he didn't have the greatest track record, but the Red Devils clearly believe he could be the man to help them get back to the top. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on Alistair Johnson and could he play a midfield for us, yes or no? Let me know down in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new Celtic t-shirts. We have a Brendan Rodgers Pope t-shirt and our Celtic Ultra t-shirts too. You can find them at celtsapparel.com or just go down to the link in the description. Thank you, take care, bye bye.